to know exactly how to shift your mindset so you can get the physique that you want, so you can become that version of you that you want, and obviously get the confidence on the way there. Now, when it comes to something like this, bro, a lot of you guys go about it the wrong way. You focus on the input, you focus on the outcome, and that's it. But the reality of it is, the only way that you're actually going to be able to make the most progress possible, short and long term, is if you focus on the identity. If you focus on who you have to become, then the result is going to follow along anyway, right? And a lot of you guys are in the position to where, like I said, you're just focused on the outcome. You're focused on the physique. You're focused on, just the end result that's going to take you months, maybe even years to get to. But that's exactly how you're going to set yourself up to fail. That's exactly why you show up to the gym. You go for a month. You show up in your personal development journey and you go hard for a couple of weeks, and then you completely fall off of it because you're so hyper focused on the outcome that you're neglecting the one thing that matters the most. And no, that's not just the inputs. The inputs are important, but in the reality, the person that you become, the identity that you cling to is going to do so much more than just showing up only to get that result, right? So I can use myself as an example. For the longest time, and a lot of you guys are in this exact same position too, because you guys are skinny, you're insecure, you're depressed about it, X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to bore you guys on my story. You guys already know I was 90 pounds. I wanted to kill myself. I was depressed. Whoop-de-doo, who cares? Anyway, the reason why I was stuck in that area for so long was because I started to unknowingly embrace the identity of that person that I didn't want to be, right? So I would call myself a skinny dude. I would call myself, depressed, insecure, X, Y, and Z. And so because I kind of unknowingly embraced that identity, I started doing the things as someone who has that fruit, someone who has that outcome does, right? I was listening to depressing music. I was coping in bad ways. When I first started, I wasn't doing drugs, but later along, I started coping with drugs too. Anyway, I was just becoming that loser that I convinced myself that I was in my mind. Now, listen, the key part to that is convince myself. Now, to be fair, yeah, I was a younger kid. I was being bullied, and, it's kind of hard not to do that. But because I embraced that, I stayed in that hole for an amount of time that was unnecessary, right? I didn't have to stay being this small, insecure version of myself, but because I told myself that's who I was, and because of that, I started acting like someone who does that. And because of that, I started getting the results of someone that does that thing. And the results was me just being depressed, hating myself, and being suicidal. Like I said, this goes both ways. But what you guys want to do is embrace the identity of someone who has the thing that you want. You have to embrace the identity of someone who is capable of doing the inputs, who acts like someone who already has the thing that you want, right? And the easiest way that I can describe this to you guys or explain it to you guys is this. When you start going to the gym and you start really, really getting into the identity of someone who goes to the gym, and it's windy out here, so just excuse that. But when you really start embracing the identity of someone that goes to the gym, what happens? You start showing up for yourself consistently. Why? Because you're the type of person that shows up to go to the gym, right? You're the type of person that just goes to the gym. That's who you are, right? And because of that, you start showing up more consistently. You start training harder. You start learning more about the gym. You start learning more about things that you need to do. Before you know it, you have all this equipment, you have these supplements, you have this, you have that. Why? Because you embrace the identity of someone who does have those things, right? And we see this in even like the weirdest things. Like a weird example is like these people who like dress up as dogs, bro. Like they embrace this strange identity. And I'm praying to God you guys don't do this, bro, because it's weird. But I'm just using this as an example to show you just how deep this goes and just how small of a thing can make a huge difference. Bro, you got these furry people running around with dog leashes on and dressing up as animals because they've embraced the identity of a freaking dog. So their actions are reflecting that, right? And you might be saying, Isaiah, how does that relate? I'm telling you this because the person that they determined that they were in their mind is who they act like. And because of who they act like, how they input, that's how they, or that reflects on the outside, right? Like in that weird example, the furry people, bro, you see them walking around with tails in there. Bro, we're not talking about, anyway. back to what I was saying. The moment that you start embracing that identity of someone who has that thing that you want, bro, if you're watching this video, you're probably skinny, or you're probably not in the shape that you want to be, or you probably want to do a little bit better than what you're doing right now. So how are you going to do that? Oh, by focusing on the inputs, Isaiah. Sure, that's a good short-term play, but long-term, that's not going to yield you much. You have to focus on becoming that version of you that has those things. And this example, the physique that you want, the confidence that you want. You want to be able to walk in a room like this. Not actually, but you don't want to be walking in the room. I'm so. Oh, are they looking? No, bro, you don't want to be acting like that. You have to embrace the identity of someone who has that thing. And this is applicable to literally everything, bro. Everything. My biggest thing is I'm telling you guys how to do this stuff with the gym. I'm telling you how to do this, get this physique, but I want you guys to apply this to every single aspect. The moment that you become that person that has that physique, you start operating like that on a day-to-day basis. So what does that mean? You start embracing the habits of someone who does this. You start embracing the habits that someone who has your desired outcome does, right? So in this example, if you want to get the most gains possible, you have to embrace the identity of that person, or you have to embrace the version of yourself that has that, meaning you have to act like that person that has that. So what does it look like? Going to sleep on time, focusing on your recovery, focusing on your food, focusing on your consistency, dialing in on this, dialing in on that, learning this, learning that. Because at the end of the day, you can either embrace the inputs and become this version of you or no, not become this version of you. You can either embrace the inputs and then make some progress short term, day by day, and, maybe fall off a week later, like some of you guys have been doing now. Or you can either embrace that version of you that has that thing. So then you're going to get it inevitably, because then the inputs are going to be like second nature, right? You don't have to think about, if you're dialed in with the gym, you don't have to think about, oh, I'm going to have to go to the gym today. No, you're the type of person that enjoys showing up to the gym. You're the type of person that enjoys the inputs. Thus, you're going to be more consistent because you're the type of person that has that kind of consistency. And all of this is going to reflect on the outside, right? You guys are so focused on just doing the thing, getting the result, when you're missing the one key element, and that is identifying yourself as that person that has that thing, or embracing the identity of the person that does the thing that gets you the result. If that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling on, talking to you guys pretty fast, but I want you guys to really understand this, because this is the one key thing that you could be missing. And the moment that you start applying this is the moment that everything's going to start skyrocketing, right? You're not going to be the type of person that just shows up to the gym for a week and then leaves. No, that's someone that doesn't even have any discipline. You're not going to be the type of person that, eats 5 pizzas in a day because you don't identify as someone who's on my 500-pound, 600-pound life. I don't know, bro. Like, the identity that you embrace is going to reflect, right? If you tell yourself you're a loser, you're going to start acting like a loser, and then you're actually going to become one, right? If you tell yourself you are focusing on becoming this version of you that has a thing that you want, then it's going to be undeniable that you get it, or at least get very close to it, or at least strive closer to that day by day. But if you don't do that, then it's going to be easy for you to fall off. It's going to be easy for you to be inconsistent. And then you're going to be in the exact same cycle over and over again, where you start and then you stop. You start and then you stop. And then you end up being in the exact same place. Why? Because you're only focusing on the inputs and the outcome. Especially if you're focused solely on the outcome, that's the easiest way to set yourself up for failure. Because in reality, you have this goal that is months and months down the line, even years down the line. It's going to take you a very long time to get it. Right. And if you're only focused on that, you're only going to get discouraged. You're only going to be more inconsistent. You're only going to be, showing up for an X amount of time, because you're so focused on just getting the thing versus becoming the person that has the thing. Right. If you flip this in the wrong way, you're not going to make any progress. You're going to be discouraged. You're going to be miserable. You're going to hate everything that you have to do. Right. Because if you're 90 pounds and you're trying to get some dream, you're trying to get to like 180, I don't know, whatever it is. Right? And you're only focused on 180. You're going to strip yourself of all the joy that is going to be necessary along this journey, because you're so hyper focused on this 180, right? You can show up, be you like 95 pounds. You started at 90 and you're like, oh, I'm still not at 180. I'm still not at 180, bro. I'm getting so discouraged. I keep looking at my physique every day and I don't like, bro. That's how you set yourself up for failure. But if you tell yourself, I'm becoming the person that has my dream physique, and I'm going to show up for myself every single day like I am that person, and because of that, I'm going to input and practice the same habits that person has, I'm going to get the physique, right? That's all that I'm talking to you guys about today. I'm not about to freaking drag out this video. If you want me to work with you one-on-one, then click the link in my description. But if you don't want to do that and you just want to watch the YouTube video and apply it to yourself, then do that too. I don't care. I just want you guys to make some progress. Anyway, bye.